This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for the 26th SF Indie Fest. The festival is taking place between February 8th and 18th at the Historic Roxy Theater in San Francisco, as well as digitally on your computer screen. So thank you so much for everyone for joining us. And thank you so much to the filmmakers from the Bay Area, True Tales, for joining us today for our digital Q&A. Welcome, everyone. So glad to have you. I would love to kick things off by introducing you to our audience. So if you could please just tell us your name, the film you're with, and the position that you had on your film. Hi, Gabriel. We'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I'm a student here in the Bay Area, and I was a director, cinematographer, editor on Lost in the Woods.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Hi, Emrys.
Hey, I'm Emrys. I am the co-director and producer, cinematographer, etc. A lot of things on Lost in the Woods as well.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, I'm Shannon Morzoff. I'm based here. I'm in Los Angeles, and I was the director on Sitting on Chrome.
Lovely. Hi, Santino.
Hello, Santino here, and I was the producer for Sitting on Chrome with Shannon.
Welcome. Hi, Adriana. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Adriana Marchione, and I'm the co-director and co-producer of I Never Was a Hippie, I Just Look Like One.
Welcome, Adriana. Thank you so much. Hi, Kirk.
Hi, I'm Kirk, co-director, producer, and editor of I Never Was a Hippie, I Just Look Like One.
Welcome. Hi, Hank. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Hank Sultan. I'm a painter in San Francisco for many years, and I am the hippie that never looked like one.
Welcome. And hello, Matthew. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, my name is Matthew Boyd. My short film is called Way of the Shepherd, and I'm the DP, director, editor.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'd love to kick things off by hearing about how this film came together for you. What was the genesis? How did you find the story, or how did the story find you? And Matthew, we'll start with you.
The origin story for my project would be, was on a hike with my wife during the height of COVID, and where we usually go up in the Berkeley Hills, and it was summertime, and I saw a bunch of goats on the hillside, and we had seen him before, but this time I thought maybe I would approach him to see if there was a story there. And before I knew it, I was learning a lot more about who he was, and decided that, yeah, there were a lot more layers to this onion, and that it was a worthy story. So I had my wife translate Spanish to inquire as to whether he'd be interested in or be okay with me having a camera in my hand the next time I saw him, and he agreed. So we just went from there, and it kind of sat on the shelves for a little while, and then I brought it back out again, and decided I would just finish it and get it in for some deadlines for festivals.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Well, let's talk about I Was Not a Hippie. I would love to hear from Adriana and Kirk first. I think maybe Adriana, if you're okay, we'll kick it off with you, and then Kirk, and then Hank, I've got some questions for you afterwards.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. The reason this film came into being was just partly just the connection with Hank. I've known Hank and his late wife, Jenny Badger Sultan, for, gosh, probably about 15 plus years. We first met when I was curating. I was an art curator at the California Institute of Integral Studies, and Hank and Jenny came and we did an exhibit together. And then we just stayed in touch over the years, and I really admired them as artists. And I ended up living a block away from Hank and Jenny. And one day after, I think it was a year after Jenny had passed, and we were seeing each other fairly often, and he just started talking to me about his self-portraits, which I'd always admired, and that he wanted to make some kind of video project. And I said, hey, maybe we can make a film. And then everything started getting rolling, and we jumped in and created this short film together.
Lovely.
And I brought on Kirk Yeah, and Kirk came on board because we had worked our last film, which also premiered at San Francisco Indie Fest, The Creative High. We worked together on that film, so it just felt like a great way to collaborate again. Kirk?
Hey, yeah, so as Adriana was saying, we worked together on this our other documentary full length, The Creative High, and Hank was one of our sponsors. We had many sponsors, but he's one of our sponsors on that. And when I got brought in, it was just it just sounded like a fun little project, and then it turned into now Hank is one of my friends, and we're
Awesome.
off on another project since then.
Lovely.
And
Thank you so much.
all right, thanks.
Great. And Hank, how did you come to be comfortable to let these folks come in and document your life and talk about your story?
Well, just because I knew Adriana, and she came over one day and she said, this is you could do something with this in a video. And I pulled out a script and said, here it is, because I had been sitting on this for quite a while. So I just want to say that getting into film is really a good thing for me, because I really have had trouble with the art establishment in San Francisco. The art world, I've always been on the fringes, kind of underground, and video and film is a good way to get my message out there as an artist, since I'm not able to do it, the correct way. Because there's a lot of talented people out there and they're not being shown, like me.
Totally. And one of the beautiful things about film is that it is a collaborative medium. So being able to bring all these aspects together is something that's super special. Thank you so much, Hank, for joining us.
Okay.
Shannon, we'll start off with you. Can you talk about the genesis of your film?
Sure. I actually think Tino is probably a better person to start with, because he called me with the film, and then I can.
Thank you. That's beautiful. What's up?
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without each other, but thank you so much for having us. And really, this film was a love letter to these artists that we had caught wind that there was going to be an exhibition coming down the line. We work at SF MoMA, and so we heard that Rafa Esparza was going to put on an exhibition. And as soon as I knew that we wanted to produce an interview, but we really wanted to go beyond just a sit-down interview. And so we had been plotting to reach out and see what he and his friends were going to be making for the exhibition. And it turned out to be so much more than just a one-person show. He actually invited two other amazing artists, Guadalupe Rosales and Mario Ayala, and the three of them are just really wonderful individuals. And instead of just doing a sit-down interview, we really wanted to immerse ourselves in their studios and in their environment and where the work was happening. And so when we did that, we found that they were just telling this really beautiful and meaningful story about kind of the different overlaps between queer cruising and lowrider cruising, and the value of community and friendship in the art world, and kind of to Hank's point, the Bay Area is a very interesting art world, and these artists kind of are a really great example of how people can really excel when they work together. And it was a really great thing. And also just the power of the archive and remembering, the whole show revolves around the history of lowriders, and it's really a history that goes back many decades, and it's cool to see how new generations are carrying it forward and finding ways to kind of push conversations in a new direction. And so to be able to put that in the museum was really cool, because it's important, and these stories aren't often represented within the white walls of the museum. So we were really stoked to spread the message a little bit further with this film.
That's so lovely. I think we're also in this interesting time, right? Like California is just now decriminalizing cruising. I think what really struck me about this film too is just, being from Northern California, having lived in the Bay Area, living in the Mission for so long and being like steeped in cruising culture there, and then coming to LA, like seeing the, kind of revitalization of like the 6th Street Bridge and like what cruising culture is here as well. I really loved how the film kind of interplays between the two cities that I call home. But Shannon, I would love to hear from you about how, you approached your work and bringing screen.
Yeah, sure. So when Tino called me about this project, like he hadn't even finished talking, I was like, yes, I'm in when we shoot. Yes, I'm in when we shoot. Yes, I mean, all of this, it's great. I mean, I'd been a huge fan of Lupe's Instagram Veteranasi Rucas for years. And so to me, to like immerse myself back into this cruising culture was awesome. I came in with a light foot. Like the first day we met, I wanted to be really cognizant that when I enter these artist spaces, that you're really entering a really private, personal space. And so we really came in with a light touch and sat down and just let everyone get comfortable and see what we were comfortable with. And what struck me when we started shooting with them was more than just what they were creating was really great. And the conversation came up with this intersectionality of the cruising and the queer cruising was just the deep friendship and respect they had for each other. And I think that started to be the story we were chasing, was like just this friendship and the way their art talks to each other. And yeah, it was a great experience working with all these artists in Tino.
That's so awesome. When does the exhibit open at the MoMA?
So the exhibit
open
is
now.
actually, it's open now.
It's open
It's
now?
still
Mhm.
open. It's going to remain open until mid-February, and so there's still some time for folks to see it. So maybe after the Roxy screening, cruise on over to SF MoMA
That's
and
a
check
good
it out.
idea. I
The
think I'm
film
gonna try and
is,
check it out when I'm back home.
yeah, it's on loop there, and there's all the artwork that's featured in the show. And just shout out to Shannon for also being available to film during Cinco de Mayo whenever they had the big Lowrider Expo. It was really cool.
That was
That's
really
awesome.
fun. I'd
That's
shoot
so
lowriders
fun.
all day long.
That's beautiful. Thank you both so much. Gabriel and Emrys, I'd love to hear from you. I think you can, whoever would like to kick things off.
All right, I guess that's me. Yeah, so this project started about a year ago, over a year ago at this point. Patrick was my CrossFit coach for many, many years. And he's also a multidisciplinary artist in the Bay Area. And he did a very interesting performance called Lost in the Woods. It's actually part of a performance series that he did at local encampments around the Bay Area. And one of the performances he did was at Cobb on Wood, which is an unhoused community in far west Oakland. It's a beautiful, like vibrant community. Sadly, it was evicted by the city of Oakland in the spring. So we got involved with this project. Patrick reached out to us and was like, "Hey, maybe you want to film this performance?" So that's kind of how this project started, and it just, the more we got involved, the more we wanted to learn about Patrick and why he does these performances, what art means to him. So it kind of like became this more complex portrait of who Patrick is as an artist, what role his art plays in, giving a voice to these communities. And yeah, Emrys, do you want to finish up?
Yeah, so Gabe and I have been making films together since we were in like middle school. So when he heard about this, he called me up and was like, "I have no idea what we're getting ourselves into, but let's do this thing." And we went to this community and saw his performance, and it kind of opened our world up in a way. And seeing people react to his performance was really special, and seeing how passionate he is about what he does was just very interesting. So we wanted to tell his story and try to dig a little deeper into why he does what he does, and yeah, all of that.
That's awesome. Well, that's all the time we have today for a Q&A. Thank you so much to our filmmakers. I hope you all can come join us in person at the Roxy and enjoy the rest of the programs. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye, guys.